Hi, this is Kate from Izzalicious Designs. Today I'm going to show you how to make another version of Minecraft Steve. Now this is a little 2D version. We are making him a little bit differently. I'm actually going to change up. This one I made with beads for his eyes, but I feel that they're actually too small. And I mean, you can use these beads. These are the 4mm by 7mm. Then I tried one with the bigger pony beads, and he's got very protruding eyes. I felt those were a little bit too big, and so we're going to make one with these eyes with them using bands. So that's what we're going to do today. As I said, a little bit different. We're making him in the same technique as we would make a mural. So we're only going to use a single loom. The two column pegs are going to be the same height. You're going to take that third column away. You don't need it. Okay, you're going to have your base plates. The one base plate is going to hold the top two pegs, the other little base plate is going to hold the bottom two pegs, and you're going to take the big base plate away completely. And this is how we're going to work. Now, to start with, we're going to take, I should tell you the colours we're going to use. We're going to use clear for the crossover bands, skin tone, brown for his hair and his beard, his goatee, turquoise for his shirt, navy blue for his trousers, and black for his shoes. And we're going to start by taking single bands. Most of him is going to be in double bands, but to start with, we're using a single band, so a brown single band. You're going to stretch it, twist it into a figure 8, so it's capped, it's looped on itself, and you're going to count down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and place your band here. Now place one side on one peg and then twist it so that you have the little infinity loop, a little figure 8, and these first 5 bands are going to be like that. So twist it and do a figure 8 with your capped bands so that they are tighter. That's 4. And here is number 5. Push these down, and then we're going to take a single brown band again and stretch from the bottom of those capped bands up to the top like that. Make sure it's pushed down. Next we're going to take pairs, so a pair of brown bands, and stretch across these 5 pegs that we're working with like this. Now, this is your crossover band, this big band that we place here. You're going to lift that up and place it in the middle of these bands. Okay, so it captures all of those 5 bands. Then you're going to take your hook, and we're going to take the 2 bottom loops and lift them up and over on all of these. Up and over. Push everything down. We're going to take another band for our crossover. Now this time I'm changing to clear. The reason I used brown to start with is we don't want the top of his head to have a clear band showing. Not particularly, it doesn't look particularly nice. So now we'll go to clear, and again we're going to use the dark brown in pairs. So lay those across. And then take your clear band and lift it up and over so that it captures the middle of those 5 bands, pegs, and lift the bottom 2 loops up and over. And then push down. Another clear band and stretch it over those 5 pegs. Now we're moving to skin tone. Now our first row of skin tone is just going to be 2 skin tone bands placed along. If I can ever separate them. And when you've done that, you're going to take your clear crossover band, lift it up and over so that it's in the middle, and loop your dark brown bands over the skin tone bands. And push things down. Take another another clear band for your next crossover. Now we are going to do some fancy footwork in this next level. Your first two will be clear skin tone. Your last two will be skin tone, and the middle will be skin tone. Just trying to make it so they're not twisted. What we're going to do next is eyes. So I've got 2 white and 2 blue, and we're going to thread them onto 2 skin tone each side. So first of all, we're going to take a blue and wrap it around your hook once, twice and 3 times, followed by a white once, twice and 3 times, like that. You will slide those onto your pair of skin tone, like that, and we'll place one side here and the other side, if I can get it on, here, like that. It's a bit tight and squeezy. Let's do the same. Blue first, 1, 2, 3, then white, 1, 2, 3, and slide onto a pair of skin tone. And pop on the other side of the middle, like so. Now we can pretty those up after the fact, that doesn't matter. You're going to take your crossover band and loop it up and over, and now we loop these bottom 2 skin tones over. So that was the eyes. And push down. Now if you choose to use a different colour for his nose, I'm just using a different skin tone colour. This is the Rainbow Loom Tan. I'm going to place those 2, actually I'm not, I'm telling you a lie. I'm going to place my crossover band first, then I will place these 2 on the centre peg. Alright, they sit on the centre. All other 4 are going to be just your skin tone. I'm a bit tangled here. Remember, you're working in pairs. If I can untangle my bands, I will show you. So there's our first pair here. Our second pair. We've put the nose one on, and like I said, you don't have to, but you can if you want to. There's our next one. You can see how twisted they are. I'm going to just put my hook around and untwist. Here's our 5th pair. Again, a bit twisted, but there we go. Take your crossover band up and over, and again we loop these bottom ones over. And push down. Now the other thing that you're going to find is it gets harder and harder to keep this on the work surface, because you've got your little head emerging through the pegs here. I'm just going to use my hook to push this through. As you can see, it's coming through here. So let's take another crossover band. Now this time we've done the nose, so this time we need to do the brown for his goatee. So I'm going to put those on first, and it will go either side of his nose here, and then the other ones will just be skin tone. So our first one is skin tone, our middle one is skin tone, and our last one is skin tone. Then take your crossover band up and over, and we then loop the skin tone bands up and over. Push things down. Another crossover band. Now we have the end of his beard, so we're going to put 3 of the dark brown for his goatee, like this, and then our first pair and last pair will be skin tone. Lift your crossover band up and over, and we do our looping. We're going a bit loopy, quite normal for me in this household. Push everything down. Now I'm going to use again the back of my hook just to poke this through. As you can see there it's coming through the end here. Now crossover band over those 5. When I made this original one, I put 3 skin tone here so that it made it look like he had a neck. Well, that was my intention. It didn't actually look really good, I don't think. I think it makes it look like he's got more of a moustache. So I'm going straight into the turquoise now. I just feel that that looks a little better. So what we're going to do, the other thing is also he's got shoulders for his arms. So with our next band, I'm getting stuff out the way so I've got room. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this crossover band off. I put that on prematurely. Take a turquoise, stretch it into a figure 8, loop it on itself, and we're going to do the same as we did with the brown. Do a little loop, a figure 8 here. You're moving up 2, okay, so you've got 2 bands, 2 pegs like this, extra on either side. We're going to do 2 this side as well. There's 1, and here is our second one. Now that gives us a much wider area that we have to stretch our band on. So what we're going to do is, this is our middle peg where we start with our nose and everything. We're going to put a single clear and stretch it up to the top where the turquoise is, and we're going to do the same, put it on top of the middle, so it goes on top of the last peg where you already have that end, the crossover. Put it on top, so that peg has got 2 crossover bands on it. It's got the one that goes up and the one that goes down. That's okay. Next we're going to take our 2 pair of turquoise and place those on our pegs. Now we're going to be doing 5 of these for his shirt, and this is number 1. We're only going to be doing 2 for his sleeves, and then changing to skin tone so it looks like he has arms. So here we go. We're going to firstly take this bottom crossover band up and over. That one has to go first because it's on top of the next one, and then you take the next one up and over. Don't worry if it looks like this one is sort of oddly joined. It doesn't matter. It all comes right at the end. Take the bottom loops up and over. and then push everything down. As I said, it's going to get a little bit tricky to push things down and to hold this now because you have the face emerging from the bottom of the loom. Just give that a little tug. Okay, so next we're going to do the next crossover. Again, you're starting from the middle, go from the middle up to the top, and then from the middle down to the bottom. Not the bottom of your loom, just the bottom of where we're actually working. Now, we've got 1 and 2 bands there on our sleeve. These little extra 4 that we added were sleeves. So now we're going to swap to put skin tone for arms. Okay, so that's going to have skin tone for arms, and these bottom pegs are going to have skin tone for arms. And the middle ones in between those are going to have turquoise. And this is layer number 2 for the turquoise. Again, take your first crossover up and over, so it's in the middle, and then the same for the second one, up and over, and then we loop our loops up and over. Push everything down. And just little eyes poking out here. We'll fix those up after. Now we need crossover bands, so go from the centre and up, from the centre, oops, and down. We're doing skin tone for his arms, so 1 pair and 2 pair, and put those down the bottom here as well. 1 pair and 2 pair, and then all these ones in the middle, turquoise. I have to say it's very odd to be holding my loom. It's an odd feeling to not be working with it sort of sitting on my surface here. Alright, let's take our first crossover, up and over, our second one, up and over, and loop. And then push everything down. Crossover bands from the centre to the top, from the centre to the bottom. Now you can count here. We've got 1, 2, and what is on our hook is, no, we've just got 1, so it's 2 on our hook. We want 5, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe. So we're on 2, I think, for this. no, this will be 3, because we've got one on there, and now this will be 3. It's very odd to have these bands all curled up. And again we do our turquoise down the middle. Now we've got in the middle here, we have, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, yep, so this is layer 4 for the turquoise. Going to take this first crossover, up and over, the second one, up and over, and loop. And push things down. Now you may have the head emerging from the bottom of the loom, but at this stage now we also have shoulders making a show as well. So push things down. They're not really ready to come through just yet, but they are there. Crossover bands from the center up to the top, from the center to the bottom. Now we're on 1, 2, 3, so we're on layer 4 for the arms. And layer 5 for the turquoise. Come on, you silly thing. There we go. Lift our crossover band up and over. The second crossover band up and over. And we loop. Now make sure you get the right bands, that they haven't crisscrossed on top of each other. Pushing things down. So 1, 2, 3, that's 4. We're going to do one more for the arm. Pushing his shoulders through now, 2. Okay, so let's do crossover band, center to the top. Oopsie. Oh, that's a horrible one. Let's get rid of that. Center to the bottom. Let's sort these bands out so they're not so twisted. This will be one pair, and two. Now I'm going to do, let me see, how many have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do one more in turquoise. We'll do 6 for the trousers and the shirt. And some skin tone. Lift this up and over, up and over, and loop. Now, push everything down. We're going to take this skin tone on the left side and put it on the right side. And the one below it, the skin tone, again, do the same. Take the bottom two up and over on both of them. And then move the top one over to the one below it, like that. Take the two bands below, up and over, and this is going to sit on the peg with the turquoise. Okay, I'm trying to pull his arm out a bit so that he's, there we go, so it's tighter. So that's going to sit there. Let's do that to the same on the bottom here. So take these two up and over, and you're just working on the skin tone for the arms, up and over. Take the bottom two loops, up and over, up and over. Move this side, this one here, over onto the peg above it, and then take the two at the bottom, up and over, and then this pair of bands sits on the turquoise on the right hand side. And again, I said push it down, make sure he comes through the bottom here a bit, so you can see his arms are forming now. Now what we're going to do is put your crossover band, but you only have to use one because we're only stretching across these 5 pegs again. So we don't need any more skin tone, we'll get those out the way. We don't need any more turquoise, we'll get those out the way. What we do need now are navy blue, and we will also be moving to black as well. So I'm going to get some of these out the way so that I'm not confusing myself, and get my black ready. It's always fun and games when you have so many different colours for something. So get my black ready as well. So I've got my crossover band on. I'm going to take my first pair of blue. Now we're doing 6 rows of this. Here's our first. And then we'll be doing 2 of black. Take your crossover band, up and over, and loop. Now, here we've got arms, okay, so I'm going to loop my blue. Actually, I'm telling you fibs, I'm going to loop the skin tone first. Make sure my navy's not falling off. There we go. And then I'm going to loop my blue. Okay, so it's sitting there. If you have a look here, I've still got the skin tone here. Move those over as well. They've got to come over. So that all you're left with on your peg is a pair of navy blue bands. Let's take another crossover band, and then we do our second row of navy blue. Crossover bands come over, up and over. Make sure these stay in place. Oops, I took too many off there. Let's go back and fix that. There we go. And I can see that I took the wrong band there too, so I'm going to put these back. Let's make sure I have them in the right order. Sometimes tricky to see. That one. Aha. And this little one has gone down to the bottom and he should be at the top. There we go. It is important to only take the bottom two and to make sure that they are really the bottom two, not imposters. Alright, another crossover band. Now if you don't have clear bands, the trick to doing this is use the colour, the same colour as the bands that you're using. So for my case now, I would be using dark blue, navy blue as my crossover bands, and for up here I would be using the skin tone. And the reason I'd be using skin tone and not turquoise is because that's what you will see on the edge. Skin tone here and brown here. So you use the colour bands that you would see on the edge. So this is 3. Push things down. This is 4. Move your crossover band. Make sure it stays on these little pegs at the bottom. This will be 5. Crossover band, broken one. This will be our last column of blue. I'm going to take that one off and push that down a bit first. There we go. Crossover band up and over. Pull him down. Now we're going to do black for his shoes. That's a monkey band. Let's get rid of that. So we're going to do 2 rows with black. This is our first one. Another monkey band. First one. Push down. Crossover band, our last crossover band. Let's do our last row. Take your crossover band up and over. Loop these last black bands over. Push everything down. We're going to need the space to finish this off and make it look pretty. So you're going to take from the right side and put them on top of the left. Okay, so move them across without dropping your stitches like I've just done. Let's take them from the right side to the left. And then you're going to take the bottom 2 bands and loop them over the top 2. Like this. And now what we're going to do, push things down, take these 2 at the bottom and put them on top of the 2 above it, like that. Dig down past the top 2 bands to find the bottom 2 bands and loop up. Find the bottom 2 bands, loop up, find the bottom 2 bands, loop up, find the bottom 2 bands and leave them on your hook and take these off. Now you can undo your loom to take your little creation out. You're going to grab couple of black bands, straighten these out first, make sure it's all nice and even, but then just go through a little loop here above. I'm going to swap hooks because my smaller hook is better. So you just pop your hook through a little loop up the top here, grab a black band, go through both of those loops, reclaim and tie off in a slip knot. And that is how we finish his shoe off. And we're going to hide this black band inside his body. And you can hide it up through the blue, you can hide it back through the black, whatever suits you. Go through the middle of the bands, grab it and pull it through like that. Stretch him into shape. You can see I've already stretched a band out of shape there, but that's alright, you can stretch them back into shape. Pull these arms out a bit so that it's not the skin tone band is not so obvious. With his shoulders you've got these little end caps that are quite tight, and there's 4 little loops, so just put your hook through, twist it around, make it so that it sits and looks nice or nicer. Fix his hair up, his nose. Now if the bands are fallen at the back here, sometimes you'll find that you've only got like the blue bit. Pull it forward, pull those white and blue bands forward. You can even put your hook through them and pull them forward a bit so that they are at the front of his face. Like so. And there we have our little Minecraft Steve. I really hope you enjoy making him. And a big thank you to my little girl Izzy, who is home today. It's Thanksgiving break and she's home from school, and she's been so quiet when I made this video. So big thank you to her. She's the most amazing kid. Thank you all. Happy Thanksgiving. Bye bye.